from Avanti West Coast.
Just leaving Milton Keynes.
Yeah. What have we been doing today?
We're going to listen to a train announcement.
Just thinking that. Just in case you wonder where we are. Calling it London Euston only. So we're...
See something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it?
Say it. Sorted. So now we all know the number.
Yes. We're on the way back from Network Rail at Milton Keynes.
So that was interesting. What were we at Network Rail about?
Well, first of all, we had to get a taxi there because the train broke, actually. So our train adventures were, again, funny. We were at Network Rail to talk about Rail Innovation Group's Startup Rail programme. So for anyone who doesn't know, that is our outreach programme to find new suppliers around the country and encourage them into the rail sector.
So Startup Rail's national programme. Give us a bit more detail about what you mean by the national programme.
Okay, so it's very difficult to gesticulate while holding a microphone and my phone, but I'll try my best. We've done 2 events last year in Newcastle and Bristol with Hitachi Rail, and then this year we've done already Liverpool, and we've got Sheffield and Glasgow, Manchester, Birmingham, Belfast, Brighton, maybe Norwich. Where am I forgetting? In the rail supply chain, currently we procure products, services and innovation, with inverted commas, centrally, and we say we're looking for these solutions. What we don't do is go out to tech communities and say, what are you working on? Maybe we could change it a little bit to meet our challenges, our needs. And we certainly physically I don't think we put ourselves out in that environment to go and find those companies. So one of the things we do is we go to quite obscure co-working places in some of the places. In Liverpool, we're above an old pub that was also a button factory behind the station. And it's to go into the environment that tech companies are working in and reach out to them and say, what are you working on? That sounds quite interesting. Have you ever thought about rail? Generally not. Why not? Because you don't know anything about it. So we do a bit of a workshop session, half-day session, to explain the opportunities in rail, the quirks of it, the landscape, the incentives, the people already in the market, success stories, and challenges. And also, if you are going to consider supplying to rail, who are you trying to sell to? So most non-rail people think they're selling to train companies, but actually, most of the time, the people who want to buy your products.
And I think that's really interesting because sort of like some of our partners that we speak to quite often say they have lots of companies coming to them, or they go to a conference and they see a great idea, because it's not necessarily solving the problem they have. So why do you think that's important, that we're targeting markets where they can actually solve actual real-life problems?
Why is it important? Because that's how you're going to get new ideas into the sector, is by meeting business challenges. So the buyer obviously has a challenge, and you need to be selling what the buyer wants. And the mismatch in the rail sector, actually all transport sector, is that the people who use the service don't see what's going on behind the scenes, so they don't really know whose problem it is. For example, I don't know, the toilets beside us are probably horrible at the moment because it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Actually, they weren't too bad.
Impressive. But that's probably a cleaning company's problem, or a train manufacturer's problem, is how you develop a better toilet, not the train operator's company. Train operating company.
But see, that's interesting in itself, isn't it? Because it's, within the supply chain, who owns the customer. Yeah.
Who does own the customer? Who did you buy your ticket from today?
My favourite website.
Okay, I bought mine from the ticket office and somehow got it for £10 cheaper. Ticket machine.
But I guess on the plus side, I will be claiming that back on delay repay because of the delays.
That is very true, because we had to get a taxi. That's true.
But anyway, back to Startup
Rail.
Rail.
What happened at our launch?
Right, so at the end of January, we were at Fujitsu on Baker Street at their head office in London, and we, as Liam said, we launched Startup Rail, and we were very lucky to have as our keynote speaker to assist us with the launch, Nadeem Sahawi, the Business and Innovation Minister. I think that's right, isn't it?
Minister of Business and Industry.
Minister of Business and Industry, who was very supporting of the launch of Startup Rail, because he saw the importance of Startup Rail to bringing in diversity, as we've already spoken about.
Yeah.
Nurturing a culture of innovation, to meeting the rail sector deal, and also because we were specifically talking as well about in a translator this year, the importance of getting UK SMEs and startups ready for export as well. So we touched on that topic as well.
Yeah, topics of the day.
Topics of the day, and it was really well attended. We had we did have a really good diverse invitee list, that were from the supply chain, maybe people from YRP.
We're professionals.
Who else did we have there? What other train operators?
Train operators, people from Network Rail, people from government and wider industry. I think it was really well.
Yeah, and I think as much as anything, I've heard that people made some really useful connections. So, I think that's one of the things that, whilst we have our own outcomes that we're seeking to achieve through our events, what they also do is they also provide a community and opportunities for other people because we're building such a diverse, organic community of people.
Yeah.
That actually we're throwing people together that wouldn't necessarily meet in normal everyday life or normal, events that are held in the rail industry. So
I like that.
Yeah, I really like that as well, because I think some people that attend, I've heard some really interesting things that might come out of it, that you just wouldn't have, thought of, before, just like delightful connections.
Yeah, and delightful cake, because you also made some cakes for us.
I did, yes.
They were Startup Rail cakes. Very tasty. Links on the website if you want to see the recipe, I'm sure. I'll write that down.
Maybe we should do a podcast on a recipe. On the brownies that I did. The startup brownies.
Yeah, they were tasty.
Because they were very tasty. I quite like those. Startup Rail. So you said done 3 events so far.
Yep.
And mentioned as part of the format, we talk about success stories. So what successes have there been so far? Because I think we've met some interesting companies and they're already doing business within the rail sector, aren't they?
There is one company that we met in Bristol within days of them pitching to the Startup Rail event. They then had meetings with, I think, Transport for Wales and with Network Rail because their solution was spot on to solve a problem and save a huge amount of money in maintenance for Network Rail. We've also had, quite interestingly, the commercials haven't been done yet, but we came across a company in Liverpool 2 weeks ago. What they were working on was so far beyond where we thought we should be with additive manufacturing. It was so out there, and we were like, "Oh my! How have we not thought about this already?" So obviously, the people there snapped them up.
But that has come about because it was in a random pub in Liverpool.
Yes.
Not random. It was articulated that was where the event would be. But nobody would have found that if you hadn't have had that event on that day.
No, not at all. And it's sort of irrespective of where this company gets into the rail supply chain, but now we are thinking about this next level of technology provision and integration into the rail sector. So in our engagement, we've already said you need to be thinking about this. Because other companies are going to be doing it, so why isn't this... If other people are making these cost savings, why aren't we?
So what's also, I think, interesting, not just in the fact that something delightful has been found that you weren't expected, but also about what is really important this program is that more diversity is coming into rail.
Very much so, because when you go to a tech community, it just by nature is more diverse. It doesn't look the same as most transport events. the people there are different, the thoughts are different, the life experience is different, the age is probably a bit younger, clothing is very different. Yeah, we still go out the Monster Munch and the Curly Whirlies, obviously. Yeah, it's a whole different creative feel, which is how these ideas bounce around.
And why do you think that is valuable to rail, that we bring in that diversity and creativity and bring that sort of like agile vibe thinking?
Because it's one of the targets of the rail sector deal, and most rail organisations want to diversify the supply chain and bring in new ideas. I think one of the things that the Rail Innovation Group, the approach is that when you sit in an open plan office in a corporate headquarters, you don't think the same way as people working in startups in co-working offices, and it's very difficult to relate to how they work. So it's very difficult for you to then go out and reach out to them because you don't really know where they are, you don't know how to talk to them, and you don't know how to attract them into your sector. So that's sort of the area that the niche area that we are in, is making that first connection and sort of grabbing.
So we're filling a gap
in.
that, you know, resource-wise, if you're a corporate or you're a train operator or even just in the supply chain, you just don't have the capacity to fill that.
Absolutely, yes, we're filling that gap.
And we're also helping with the rail sector deal, and we're also helping with diversity and that. So we've got 2 events coming up in March. So what's the
So
one is one of our Startup Rail events.
Startup Rail Sheffield. That's going to be hosted by 3 Squared, who is a company one of our founding members. They are based in central Sheffield, and they have moving into a new office, so we're going to be the first event in their new office. We're already engaging with, I think, Sheffield Digital and some of the other larger companies around there.
And where can people get tickets to come to the event or get an invite?
Head to our website, railinnovationgroup.com. Everything's linked from there.
And then our other event on the 30th, which is going to be our next meetup.
Yep, in London. That's going to be in King's Cross, hosted by Arcadis. And we will be hearing from... Oh, should we just close that door?
Oh.
I've no idea what that rustling is. The perils of doing it on a train. We are going to be... that is about High Speed 2 and their innovation challenges, and I think they have an accelerator coming up.
They're going to be, later this year, HS2 are going to be launching an accelerator, and as part of the event, you're going to hear from Howard, who is the head of innovation at HS2, about what the challenges are going to be. So hopefully he's going to be sharing us some videos of what those are and their challenges that are mainly going to be surrounding around their construction challenges, health, safety and environment. So that's going to be the theme of the event.
Oh, perfect. Environment, actually, you mentioned decarbonisation is rocketing up the agenda in all of these events. Everybody wants solutions. So if you have a solution to do with decarbonisation, I think you have a receptive audience everywhere for that. We also have an event, 2nd of April, we have Startup Rail Glasgow.
It's a busy month ahead, isn't it?
Yes.
Or is it just that March just feels like a short month?
It's longer than February. But yes, it is quite long. Quite a lot coming up. I'm also speaking at... we're both going to Boston as well.
And we're going to Boston
so we'll have to do a podcast there.
The Smart East conference there.
Smart East.
So that'll be the next podcast, I guess.
Yes. What are you speaking about there?
I'm talking about the importance of developing the customer journey and how we transport plan. And part of what I'm exploring is why we don't use data to do transport planning and we still use lagging data. Because there is so much data available that we could probably do it smarter. And I think one of the things that I'm going to be exploring as part of that is why do we focus so much on point-to-point journeys rather than the fact that I start my journey from a location which may be my home and I go to an office or I have a destination in mind. I'm not travelling from bus stop to bus stop or train station to train station.
Right. Well, at least you got to travel with me for half the journey to Milton Keynes. Did you know there's a pop song for Milton Keynes?
I didn't. Are you going to sing it?
I'm not going to sing it, but if I find it when I edit this podcast, I'll put it on here now.
You've never Milton Keynes. You've never been anywhere like it. Central Milton Keynes. You've never seen shopping as it should be until you've been